I lived a lie for 24 years, until I took a test, and you won't believe what happened to my family. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 38 years old. I live in a small town in the interior of North Carolina, and for more than 20 years I thought I knew exactly who I was: faithful wife, devoted mother, churchwoman, owner of a marriage that was imperfect, but solid. I truly believed I understood my own story. I knew where it had started, who I was walking with, and where we were headed. At least, that's what I thought. Today I know that while I was mentally writing the script of a normal life, someone else was rewriting that script behind the curtain. And when the truth finally showed up, it didn't knock politely. It kicked the door down. Before I go on, let me ask you something. If you suddenly discovered that the person you trusted most not only lied to you, but built an entire other life in parallel, how do you think you'd feel? If you want, tell me in the comments with just one word what the first feeling would be: anger, shock, shame, emptiness, whatever shows up first. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because this story goes deep into pain, but also into reunions you might never imagine could exist. The first time he walked through the door, I met Jack Carter when I was still the counter girl, like everyone called me, at the roadside diner. We were at the intersection of two big highways, and half the world stopped there to eat a greasy burger, use the bathroom, and fill up the tank. It smelled like frying oil, burnt coffee, and hot rubber coming in from the parking lot. There was loud laughter, an old radio in the corner, the clatter of dishes. At that time, I was 18. My hair was tied in a ponytail, my uniform was 2 sizes too big, my white sneakers were already a little gray, and I had a huge desire to escape that routine mixed with an equally huge fear of leaving the only life I knew. Jack came in on a Friday night. I remember because it was the end of my shift and I was counting $1 bills at the register when I heard the doorbell ring. I looked up out of habit. He had just walked in. Tall, broad shoulders, trucker cap with the company logo, worn denim jacket, stubble on his face. He had that look of a man who'd seen a lot of road and still kept an easy smile in his pocket. He sat at the counter on one of those squeaky swivel stools. "What's good for a man who's already eaten at every diner on the I-85?" he asked, resting his elbows on the counter. "Honestly?" I answered. "Nothing here is unforgettable, but I can guarantee that a special burger doesn't kill anybody." He laughed. "Then give me the burger that doesn't kill, fries, and a lot of coffee." He pointed at the pot. "I still have a few good hours of road ahead." While I poured the coffee, he watched me closely. "You look tired," he said. "So do you," I replied, nodding at the transport company badge clipped to his shirt. "The difference is I'm tired of the road," he shot back, taking a sip. "And you look tired of standing still." I smiled, a little embarrassed. I didn't know if he'd hit the truth or if I was just that transparent. That night he left a bigger tip than usual. And before he walked out, he put his hand on the counter and said, "If I stop by here next week, are you still gonna be in this same spot?" "Probably," I replied. "We don't move much around here." "Maybe someone should remind you there's a world after this parking lot," he said, winking. "I'll be back." And he did come back. The routine that turned into a story in the months that followed, he became a constant presence. The trucks from his company ran on a more or less set schedule. After a while, I could recognize the specific rumble of his engine pulling into the lot. "Your boyfriend's here," a coworker teased. "He's not my boyfriend," I'd say, but my heart would beat a little faster. Jack brought stories from the road like other people brought souvenirs. He talked about sunrises on the highway with orange skies. Heavy rain in the middle of long stretches with no gas station in sight. Truck stops where the coffee was so strong it felt like it could push the truck by itself. He told stories about his trucker buddies, cheap motels, laying down on a vinyl bench and trying to remember why he was doing all of that. "And you?" he'd ask. "What's your story?" I didn't have much to say. I was born in that little town. Went to that same school. Attended that same Baptist church since I was a kid. Started working at the diner as soon as I finished high school because college felt like something from another planet. This is my story, I'd say, gesturing at the tables. I serve food. I listen to other people's conversations. And when I get home, my mom asks if I got good tips. Maybe you deserve a new chapter, he'd reply, half serious, half playful. When he finally asked me out, it was simple. There's live music at the community hall Saturday night, he said. I don't know anyone around here. You could do a little Christian charity and go with me? You're really using Christian charity as your argument? I laughed. I'm good with arguments, he said. Let me prove it. I went. I remember how it felt being in that hall, colored lights, smell of beer and popcorn, a live country band. I'd spent my whole life in that place, but it was like I was seeing it with new eyes. With the eyes of someone who, for the first time, was fully aware that she could actually leave town someday. Jack danced well. He spun me confidently but without crushing me. He half sang lyrics into my ear, totally off-key, which made me laugh. One day I want to dance with you somewhere that's ours, he whispered as we swayed. Not just a rented room. When he asked me to marry him 2 years later, there were no fireworks, but there was honesty. We were in the same parking lot, end of the night, everyone else gone. He knelt on the warm asphalt, pulled a little box from his pocket, and opened it. I'm tired of coming and going without having somewhere to really come back to, he said. You're my reason to park for good. Will you be my harbor? I remember looking at his uniform, badge, the parking lot, the sky full of dim little stars, and feeling like, for the first time, my life had a new possibility. Yes, I replied, my voice breaking. I said yes, with my voice, my eyes, my whole body. I said yes, to him, to the road he carried with him, to the future I imagined. I had no idea that, inside that yes, there was a story that would later be cut in half without my consent. Home, church, and a wife's routine. We got married at the Baptist church in town. I wore a simple rented dress. My mother spent the night before fixing the hem with needle and thread. My friends from the diner squeezed into the back pews, with half-hidden tears and loud laughs. Jack looked handsome in a suit he'd borrowed from a friend. When he saw me walking down the aisle to the slightly off-key wedding march played on the church keyboard, he took a deep breath like he was holding the whole world in his lungs. At the altar, the pastor talked about love, commitment, faithfulness. He said, marriage is a reflection of God's love for his church, that the two become one flesh. We said, I do, exchanged rings, and kissed under applause. The reception afterward was simple. Church fellowship hall, single-layer cake, cheap sweets, soda in plastic cups. But there, in that little room, I felt rich. Rich in promises. Rich in future. When we left the church, my mother-in-law, Donna, hugged me tight. Thank you for giving my boy a home, she whispered. He's always been good. He just needed someone to believe in that. I believed. The first years were tough, but honest. We rented a tiny house, with a borrowed couch and a mattress on the floor until we could buy a bed on credit. Jack was still driving trucks, but he started looking for a permanent job with a logistics company in the region. He came home from trips exhausted but affectionate. He'd bring little mementos, a keychain, a t-shirt, some random toy. It's for our future, he'd repeat. I'm doing this for us. When I got pregnant with Lily, it was a mix of fear and joy. You're going to be an amazing dad, I'd tell him while he pressed his ear to my belly. I just hope I can do half of what my dad did for me and not repeat his mistakes, he'd say. His own father had died young. Jack carried that like a missing piece. I'm not going anywhere, he promised. I'll be here. Lily was born on a cold December night in a small local hospital. The labor was long, but what I remember most is when they placed that little warm bundle on my chest. Jack cried. She's perfect, he said, repeating it like a mantra. Perfect. The years went by and our routine settled in. I worked part-time in the school library. Lily went and came home with me, tiny, with a backpack bigger than she was. In the afternoons, I took care of the house. At night, sometimes I went to prayer meetings at church. Jack worked shifts, short trips, meetings. He was a good father. There's no point denying it. He taught Lily how to ride a bike, running behind her in the park until she managed to balance on her own. He made heart-shaped pancakes on Saturday mornings. He popped popcorn for our Friday movie night. From the outside, no one would have said anything was wrong. But from the inside, some things started to scrape. The little signs we insist on ignoring. It might look like everything fell apart at once because of that video. But if I look closely, I see that the collapse started as hairline cracks. The first crack came on paper. I was at the kitchen table with my dad's old calculator, adding up the monthly bills, when I saw a charge on Jack's credit card, an expensive restaurant in another city, on a Saturday night when he was supposed to be at a logistics conference. So this place must be really good, huh? I asked, holding up the statement when he got home. He glanced at it quickly. Oh, that client dinner, work stuff. Folks love closing deals over fancy meals. And since when are you a wine guy? I teased, trying to keep it light. I'm a businessman now, he grinned. Relax. Everything I do is for you too. I wanted to believe. And I did. Then came the smell. One night he came home later than usual. I hugged him at the door like I always did, and I caught the scent of a sweet, floral perfume that wasn't mine. I'd used the same vanilla-scented fragrance since our wedding. That smell was different. What perfume is this? I asked, stepping back from the hug. Perfume? He sniffed his own shirt too quickly. Must be from someone at the office. The women there drown themselves in perfume. I didn't like the answer. But I swallowed it. Another time, folding his shirts, I saw a faint reddish smudge on the collar. I held the shirt up, heart racing. What's this? I asked that night, showing him the stain. Lipstick, he squinted. Must have been from some client's wife. They hug, kiss, leave their mark. I didn't even notice. It was plausible. Plausible enough that I could choose to believe. My mother-in-law, Donna, noticed my discomfort. Emily, men are clumsy sometimes, but not every little thing is cheating, she told me once while we were folding clothes. You have to trust him. Trust. Heavy word. Over time, the calls started. Unknown numbers late at night. I'd answer and hear nothing. Just silence. After a few attempts, I stopped picking up. Telemarketers, Jack would say when I complained. Those robots call at all hours. And the absences got longer. Longer trips. More out-of-town meetings. More, I can't make it home this weekend, the client here is too important. I tried to confront him now and then. You're always gone, Jack, I'd say. Lily asks about you every day. I'm killing myself out there for you too, he'd snap sometimes. You think money falls from the sky? What do you want, Em? For me to sit at home while the bills pile up? I felt selfish. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was being unfair to a man just trying to work. Marriage is like this, I told myself. You push through the hard seasons. He's grinding for our future. What I didn't know was that he was also grinding for someone else's future. The day death arrived before the truth. The day of the accident seemed like any other. It was Sunday morning. The sky was overcast, but not threatening rain. Lily, 15 by then, was upstairs with her headphones on, watching some dance video or teen series. I was in the kitchen washing breakfast dishes and debating whether or not I'd drag myself to church. Jack was on his way back from a trip. He'd texted Friday, conference in Charlotte, back Sunday morning. Love you girls. He hadn't sent any updates on Saturday, but that had happened before, so I tried not to freak out. I expected my phone to buzz any minute with his usual on my way. Instead, it rang with an unknown number. Hello? I answered, drying my hand on a dish towel. Mrs. Carter? A professional male voice. Yes, this is she. This is the General Hospital in Charlotte. Your husband, Jack Carter, was brought in a few hours ago. There was an accident on the highway. Can you come down here? I will never forget how it felt hearing that sentence. It was like the sound of the whole world suddenly moved far away. Like I'd been swallowed by a tunnel. Is he okay? I asked, already knowing the answer. There was a pause. It would be better if you came, he said. Mom? Lily's voice came from the stairs. What's wrong? I don't remember hanging up. I only remember that minutes later we were both in the car. I was driving more on autopilot than anything. The road to Charlotte felt too short and too long at the same time. At the hospital, a doctor led us to a small room. I'm sorry, he said. The impact was very strong. He died instantly. I looked around as if the right answer might be hiding in some corner of the room. No, he can't be dead, I said, almost politely. We have a daughter. He has to be alive. The doctor gave me that mix of compassion and fatigue you see in people who have to deliver this kind of news every day. I'm sorry, he repeated. They let us see the body. He was lying there, covered to the chest, skin paler than I'd ever seen, accident marks on his face. His ring was still on his finger. I took his cold hand and ran my thumb over the silver band like it could flip some switch and bring him back. You promised you'd stay, I whispered. You said you weren't going anywhere. Lily sobbed next to me, her hands shaking. Dad, she kept saying, like calling someone out of a nightmare. Dad, please, wake up. I still need you. He didn't wake up. We went back home wrapped in a silence so heavy it filled every room. The days that followed were a series of things you do because you must, not because you want to. Funeral home. Death certificate. Choosing a casket. Deciding between burial and cremation. I felt like I was watching a bad movie of my own life. At the funeral, the church was packed. Coworkers, neighbors, relatives, childhood friends. People I hadn't seen in years. People I'd never seen before. Everyone wanted to talk about Jack. He was such a hard-working man, he was always so helpful, he was such a dedicated father. I heard it all like the words were in a foreign language. When the pastor preached, he used all those classic funeral verses. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I am the resurrection and the life. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. To me, it all sounded more like static than comfort. I wasn't ready to see any precious side to the death of the man I loved. 3 days after the burial, while the church was still dropping off food in plastic containers and sending Bible verses on cards, I sat down at the computer to do something no one else could do for me: paperwork. Life insurance. Company benefits. Bills. Mortgage. I opened an email from his company, downloaded a PDF with details about his policy. I read clauses through eyes blurred by exhaustion. At some point, my phone buzzed. You were tagged in a video, said the TikTok notification. I tapped it without thinking much, the way you tap anything just to get away from legal jargon for a second. I just wanted a few moments away from forms. A video opened. The cover showed a dark-haired woman with a swollen face and red eyes. The caption said, "My husband died and left a secret family behind." My finger started to slide to skip, but before I could, the video began to play. And I saw him. I saw Jack smile, holding a little girl on his shoulders in a living room that wasn't mine. The video I froze. My first impulse was to pause the video, but my finger missed. It kept going. My name is Rosa Martinez, the woman began, her voice shaky. And I spent 10 years with the man I called my husband. He said he worked in logistics, that he traveled a lot. We have a daughter, Sophia. Last week he died in a car accident. She took a deep breath, her eyes filling with tears. And at the funeral, I found out he had another wife. Another daughter. Another family. The video cut to a photo. Jack wearing a cap I'd seen 1,000 times, smiling. A girl of about 8, Sophia, lying across his lap, smiling just like him. Rosa leaning on his shoulder, with the same kind of trusting look I knew well. I knew that smile. I had that smile in Christmas albums, vacation photos, blurry kitchen selfies. My heart was pounding so hard I heard it in my ears. "No," I whispered, not realizing I was speaking. "No, no, no, no." "Mom?" Lily's voice came from the stairs. "Are you okay?" I didn't answer. I just turned the volume up. Rosa went on. "I went to the funeral thinking it was just my grief," she said. "I took my daughter by the hand. His mother knew me. Some of his friends knew me. But when I introduced myself as his wife, a lady looked at me and said, 'No, honey. His wife is over there.'" The camera cut to a photo from the funeral, me in black, clinging to Lily near the casket, Donna beside us. It was a little blurred, but you could tell. You could see the exact moment someone was pointing at me. In that second, Rosa continued, I realized the life I'd been living wasn't just mine. And that somewhere out there was another woman crying for the same man I was. Lily reached the couch, curious. "What are you watching?" she asked. I paused the video. The image froze on Jack's face. Lily saw it. All the color drained from her face. "Mom," she whispered. "That's Dad." I couldn't deny it. "It is," I replied, barely audible. "Why is he with another family?" she asked. I didn't have an answer. I hit play again. Rosa talked about split bills, weekends when he said he had extra shifts, late texts, the same lines I'd heard, "It's for our future. I'm doing this for us." She talked about faith, how he would sometimes go to church with her and Sophia. How he'd say, "God gave me a second chance." At the end of the video, she looked into the camera and said, "If you landed on this video somehow and you know either of the families, please, pray for us. None of us chose this. Not me, not his other wife, not our daughters. All we wanted was a family." I paused. TikTok showed the view count, over 2 million. 2 million strangers knew my husband had another family before I could even say that sentence out loud. The comments were pouring in. "Trash man. Poor women. This happens more than you think. Men like that should." I dropped my phone on the sofa like it was burning my hand. Lily shot to her feet. "So," she stammered. "So he lied to us? This whole time? To me, to you, to Grandma, to that woman?" I tried to say, "It's not exactly like that," but the words died in my throat. It was exactly like that. I don't know how long we sat there in silence. I just know that afternoon I felt like I lost my husband for the second time. If at this point in the story something is already jumping inside of you, anger, recognition, sadness, that feeling of, "I've lived something like this," tell me in the comments the one word that sums it up for your heart. It helps this video reach other people who need to know they're not alone in this kind of pain. And don't forget to subscribe, because the part where my pain has to look into the eyes of someone else's pain is still coming. Double grief from that day on, my grief doubled. In the mornings, I was the proper widow. I answered messages from church members, thanked people for lasagnas and pies left at the door, went to the bank, handled paperwork. People looked at me with pity, put a hand on my shoulder and said things like, "God knows what he's doing." I'd force a polite smile, with a face trained to look strong. In the afternoons, I became an investigator. I watched Rosa's video again, pausing every detail. I studied her living room. The way Jack held Sophia. I noticed a wall clock, a sofa I'd never seen, a framed verse in Spanish. I went through Jack's old emails, hotel reservations, restaurant receipts. I saw that many of the places he said he'd gone, alone for work, matched the city where Rosa lived. At night, when the house went quiet, I fell apart. I'd lock myself in the bathroom, turn on the shower to muffle the sounds, and sit on the floor. "You didn't just leave," I'd murmur, staring at the grimy grout. "You replaced us without telling us. You split your life in two and thought you could live like that forever." I was furious at Jack for dying before I could throw all my questions in his face. I was furious because there was nowhere to lay my anger down that didn't hurt somebody else. I was also furious at myself. How did I not see it? How did I miss the trips, the smells, the statements? How did I justify it all for so long? One afternoon, in the middle of all this, Donna came by. She came in slowly, like she knew she was walking on a minefield. "You saw the video?" I asked, unable to hold back. She sat at the kitchen table. "I saw it," she said quietly. "Someone sent it in the ladies' group." "Did you know?" I blurted. "Did you know he had another family?" Her hand went to her chest. "Emily, I swear on my own life, I didn't know," she said firmly. "If I had, do you really think I would have kept quiet? I would have dragged him by his ear until he straightened everything out, no matter the cost." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I watched my boy grow up," she went on. "I saw him suffer through his own father's absence. I thought that because he'd been through that, he'd never do something similar to his own family. I was wrong." She cried. Right then I realized something I hadn't considered: she was a victim too. She wasn't a co-conspirator. She'd been deceived like we had. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," she whispered. "Sorry for you, for Lily, for that other woman, for that other little girl. My granddaughter, I don't even know what to call her yet. I don't know how to divide my grief." We sat there, two women crying over the same man for different reasons. After some time, Donna said, "Have you thought about talking to her?" "To Rosa?" I asked. "To Rosa," she nodded. "And say what?" I replied. "Hi, I'm the wife who was also lied to by your husband?" "Maybe exactly that," Donna said. "Maybe tell her you two aren't enemies, Emily. You're in the same sinking boat." I didn't want to hear that. But her words echoed in my mind for days. The first message that night, lying in bed, I opened Rosa's TikTok profile. She had other videos besides the viral one. Clips of her cooking with Sophia, making rice and beans, teaching how to make tortillas. Videos venting about overdue bills. Videos talking about faith with a Bible open on the table. I stopped on one. In it, Sophia was drawing at the table. "What are you making, honey?" Rosa's voice asked. "I'm drawing our family," Sophia answered. The drawing showed 3 stick figures holding hands: a man, a woman, a girl. "Who's this?" Rosa asked, pointing at the man. "That's Daddy," Sophia said without hesitation. "Even if he's in heaven." I paused the video. She was just a child. A child who loved the same father my daughter loved. None of it was her fault. I switched to the messages tab. My fingers shook. I typed, "Hi, Rosa. I'm Emily. I was married to Jack." I deleted it. Tried again, "My name is Emily. I think the Jack you talk about in your video is the same Jack who was my husband for 20 years. I saw your video. I don't even have words yet, but..." I needed to reach out. This time, I hit send. I closed the app immediately, afraid of her reply. When I finally worked up the courage to open it again a few minutes later, she had already responded. "Hi, Emily. I figured one day you might see the video. I'm Rosa. I'm so sorry. For you, for me, for the girls. I swear I didn't know he was still married to you." I felt a mix of rage and relief. Rage, because there it was in black and white: I wasn't an ex. She wasn't an ex. We had been simultaneous. Relief, because it was clear she wasn't enjoying any of this. She was as shattered as I was. We started to talk. At first, short messages with long pauses between them. "He told me his old marriage had been dead for years," she wrote. "He told me the trips were all work, that home was always with us," I replied. "He spent a lot of weekends with me," she said. "Those were the weekends he said he was at long conferences," I answered. It was like putting together a puzzle with pieces sharp enough to cut your fingers. Slowly, patterns emerged. The phrases were the same. You're my reason to keep going. I've never loved anyone like I love you. I'm going to make things official, I just need time. He had said that to me 20 years earlier. He'd said it to her a decade later. Lily and Sophia, meanwhile, Lily was going through her own private hell. One day she'd delete her dad's photos from her phone. The next I'd catch her rewatching a video of him goofing off in the kitchen. Sometimes she exploded. I hate him, she'd shout, throwing her pillow against the wall. You don't hate him, I'd say. You hate what he did. It's the same thing, she'd snap back. He ruined our lives. Other times the pain was quiet. Was anything he ever said to me true, she'd ask, lying on her back, staring at the ceiling. I didn't know how to answer. On the other side of the screen, Rosa told me how Sophia was reacting. She cries at night, she wrote. She misses her dad so much. She asks why God took him. I haven't had the courage to tell her the whole truth. I just say he made big mistakes, that he hurt people, but that doesn't erase the fact that he was her father. Lily read some of those messages when I left my phone lying around. One day she walked into the kitchen, serious. I want to meet Sophia, she said. I almost dropped my mug. Are you sure? I asked. Isn't it too soon? Mom, she's the only person on the planet who had him as a dad the way I did, Lily replied. And it's not her fault. She was lied to just like me. I don't want us to grow up seeing each other as enemies. She was right. I texted Rosa, Lily wants to meet Sophia. Maybe we could meet somewhere public, if you're comfortable with that? Her answer was honest. I'm scared, she wrote. Scared you'll blame me personally. Scared Sophia will hurt even more. But I also don't want her to grow up thinking your family is the enemy. So, let's try. We chose a park in Charlotte. The first meeting Sunday afternoon. Cloudy, but pretty. The park was full of families, kids running, dogs chasing kids, couples on blankets. Ironic, if you think about it, family everywhere. Lily and I got there first. She was squeezing her backpack strap like it was a lifeline. What if she hates me? She asked. She has no reason to, I answered. But even if she does, we can't control that. I was scared too. I had never stood face to face with someone who, for many years, occupied the same place I thought was mine alone. Then I saw Rosa. She was walking slowly, scanning the park like she was looking for an escape route. Beside her, clinging to her hand, was Sophia in a pink dress, worn-out sneakers, clutching a stuffed toy by the ear. When our eyes met, time slowed down. We both carried the same kind of exhaustion on our faces. The look of someone who hadn't slept properly in weeks. Hi, she said first. Hi, I replied. You must be Emily, she said. And you must be Rosa, I answered. Silence. Sophia broke it. She let go of her mom's hand, took a few steps forward, pointed at Lily, and asked, Are you my dad's daughter too? Lily swallowed hard. Yeah, she said. I'm Lily. I'm Sophia, she said. So, what are we? Like, almost sisters? Lily took a deep breath like she was picking a word that would carry a lot of weight. I think we're whole sisters, she replied. Sophia smiled like that answer untied a knot in her chest. Wanna go on the swings? She asked. Sure, Lily replied. They ran off toward the playground. Rosa and I stood there for a moment until she gestured to a bench. Let's sit, she suggested. We sat. I've thought about you 1,000 times, she said bluntly. Since the funeral. I felt angry, but not at you. Angry at him. Angry at myself for not seeing it. Afraid of what you'd think of me. I've thought about you too, I replied. Sometimes I wanted to hate you. It would have been easier. I wanted to blame you for taking him from me. But then I realized you didn't take anything. He's the one who split himself. She nodded. He always told me his first marriage had died long ago, she said. Said you two had grown apart, that you were basically separated, that he just hadn't made it official yet because of your daughter, for stability. I thought I was his second chance. To me he said the trips were always for work, I replied. That we were sacrificing time for a better future. I thought I was the only chance. Rosa gave a humorless little laugh. And in the end, we were just part of the same lie, she said. Tears sprang up again. I feel so stupid, I admitted. I feel guilty for not seeing it. The guilt is his, she said. He's the one who chose to live two lives. We sat in silence for a while, watching the girls play. Lily was pushing Sophia on the swing. They laughed. Sometimes they glanced over to check if we were watching. Sophia hurts a lot at night, Rosa said eventually. She cries because she misses her daddy. I look at her and I see him. I want to scream, break things. But I can't do that on top of her. Lily hurts too, I said. She's so angry. And she misses him. And she's ashamed. She doesn't know which feeling to feel first. Me neither, Rosa said. If this kind of encounter, looking into the eyes of someone the world would love to label, the other woman, and seeing she's as wounded as you, brings someone to mind that you've always seen as a rival, but who might actually be a victim of the same blow that hit you, write a restart in the comments. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because you still haven't heard the part where God steps into this story, not as decoration, but as someone who changes its direction. The first fights. It would be pretty if I told you that from that day in the park everything turned into a perfect reconciliation story with slow-motion hugs and a soft soundtrack. It didn't. We kept having hard conversations, full of jealousies we didn't want to admit. One day, sitting in a cheap cafe near Rosa's job, she blurted out, "You had him for 20 years. 20. I only got 10. It was like she was measuring pain by time. I swallowed. And you had him more present at the end, I replied. He spent more weekends there, more nights, more everything. I watched him walk through our front door less and less. You had the official marriage on paper, she shot back. The pastors at your church called you a Jack's wife. I was, a story nobody knew. But people knew about you, Rosa, I said. His friends there knew you. His mother knew me. He's the one who built the dividing wall." She took a deep breath. "I know," she said. "Sometimes I just feel like we're both trying to find a way to make our pain fit into boxes. Mine is bigger, yours is bigger. Like that could help somehow." She was right. Lily saw those silent battles too. One night at home, after reading some of my texts with Rosa, she snapped. "You guys realize you're fighting over pieces of a dead man, like that's going to bring anything back?" she shouted, slamming her hand on the table. "Lily, I tried. He did this to us," she went on. "He split his life in two and left the wreckage for everyone else. And you two are wasting what little energy you have trying to decide who's the real widow, who hurt more, like there's some prize for that." I went silent. Sometimes it's the kids who see what we don't want to. That night, after Lily locked herself in her room, I went to the kitchen, sat on the floor, leaned my back against the cabinet, and stared at the ceiling. "God," I began, his name feeling strange in my mouth. "I know it's been a while since I talked to you without just asking why. I know my faith is patched together. But if you're still here, if you're still looking at this house, I need help. Because I don't know how to live this mess without turning to stone." I didn't hear a voice. I didn't see a vision. I didn't feel any strange warmth. What I did feel, slowly, was an old memory surface, me as a little girl, listening to a pastor say that God was a faithful father. That he didn't have two faces. That he didn't live a double life. In that moment, I realized some of my anger wasn't just at Jack. It was at God. If you're a father, I thought, why did the father of my daughter do this to us? That was the beginning of a different kind of reunion that would come later. A different decision the next day, I texted Rosa. Yesterday Lily yelled at me, I wrote. She said we're fighting over pieces of a man who's already gone. I think she's right. I don't want to keep competing with you over who's more hurt. I just want to find a way to breathe again without turning bitter. She replied, I'm tired too, Emily. Tired of crying, tired of fighting, tired of being angry. I don't want to repeat the story of the women in my family who spent their lives fighting each other over the mistakes of men. I want our girls to see something else. That message was a quiet turning point. Without big speeches, we decided we wouldn't be enemies. We would not feed a narrative of official and side chick, starter and backup. Even though, humanly speaking, we had 1,000 reasons to, we both chose a harder path, reconciliation. Not with Jack, he was gone. But with each other. God's steps. I and my mother-in-law played a big role in this. Donna has always been a church woman. She knows all the hymns by heart, brings food to everyone, has a worn Bible full of dates scribbled next to verses. She took the news about her son hard. Cried at home, cried at church, cried in her friends' arms. One day she invited all of us, me, Rosa, Lily, and Sophia, to her house. Said she wanted to show us something. On her dining table she'd laid out a box of Jack's old things, childhood photos, certificates, a worn football, school notebooks. Among them was an old Bible. This was Jack's Bible when he was a teenager, Donna explained. He got it at a church camp. She opened to Psalm 51. One verse was underlined. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Next to it was a date and the initials, J. C. He marked this the day he told me he wanted to straighten his life out after a bunch of bad choices, Donna said. He started well, girls. Somewhere along the way, he got lost. A wave of anger rose up in me. And what good did that prayer do if this is how he ended? I snapped. With 2 families, 2 lives, 2 betrayed wives? Donna took a deep breath. It did him good for as long as he kept his eyes on that north, she said. If later he chose to turn away, that was on him. God didn't change. Her words stuck with me. A few days later, Pastor Michael called. Emily, I've been praying for you all, he said. I know there's a lot going on. I can imagine grief mixed with betrayal is almost too heavy to carry. Feels like God took a vacation and forgot to tell anyone, I replied, half sarcasm, half lament. He was quiet for a moment. I don't have a ready-made answer, he admitted. It'd be easy to throw a verse at you and pretend that fixes everything. It doesn't. What I can tell you is this, God doesn't live a double life. He wasn't one father in one house and another father in another. He's the same. And I believe he wants to meet all of you inside this mess. He suggested a small, intimate service at church just for the family and a few close friends. A time to lay everything out before God without pretending. I agreed, still skeptical. Rosa agreed too. The reunion service on the day we chose, the church was much emptier than it had been for the funeral. Just family, a few close friends, the pastor, his wife, and a handful of members. Rosa and I sat side by side with Lily and Sophia next to us. Donna sat behind us with her hands on our shoulders, like she was trying to hold us all up. The pastor opened with a simple prayer. Lord, we're not here today to pretend everything's okay, he said. We're bringing you a broken story, full of lies, pain, and grief. And we ask you to step into it, not to erase the past, but to redeem the present. He read a few Bible passages. Not the usual funeral ones. Texts about reconciliation, forgiveness, truth. He talked about a God who invites us into the light, not into hiding. At the end, he asked if anyone wanted to share. My heart started pounding. I knew if I didn't stand right then, I'd regret it. I got up. My legs felt like rubber. I took the microphone. I don't really know what to say, I began. I've always liked having the right words, the pretty phrases. But today I don't have any of that. I looked at Rosa. For 20 years I thought I was Jack's only wife, I said. Now I know that for at least 10 of those years, I shared that place with another woman. When I found out, my first instinct was to hate her. Blame her. Say she'd stolen my husband. But the more I heard her story, the more I realized she hadn't taken anything from me. She'd been lied to, just like I had. Some people shifted in their seats, uncomfortable. I'm not here to canonize Jack, I went on. He did wrong. Very wrong. He broke his vows, lied, split his life in half. That's sin. There's no other word for it. But I'm also not here to spend the rest of my life stuck in the role of betrayed woman. I don't want that to be my label. Not for me, not for her, not for our girls. I looked at Lily and Sophia. I want them to see something else, I said. I want them to see two women who were hurt by the same man, but who chose not to destroy each other, who chose to walk together instead. I want them to see that there is a God who doesn't live a double life, even when the men who were supposed to represent his love fail. I swallowed. I don't know exactly how to forgive, I admitted. But today I'm saying I want to walk that road. Not to clean up Jack's image. But so his mistake doesn't get to write the final chapter of my story. I handed the mic back. Rosa stood up. Her hands were trembling. I grew up hearing about God in Spanish, she began. Hymns in a different melody, services in a different neighborhood, different culture. I always asked God for a husband, a family. When Jack walked into my life, I thought he'd answered. She took a deep breath. Finding out he had another wife, another daughter, it felt like God was laughing at me, she said. I was angry at God. Really angry. But slowly, listening to Emily's story, seeing Lily's heart and my Sophia's, I realized the one laughing wasn't God. It was sin. It was the lie. God was crying with us. She turned to me. I don't want to be your enemy, she said. I don't want to be the shadow in your story. I want to be someone who walks with you, even if our steps are clumsy, so our girls don't have to repeat this. Some people in the church were openly crying. The pastor returned to the pulpit. I don't know what you all are feeling out there, he said. But from up here I'm seeing something you don't witness every day. Two women, wounded by the same wrong, choosing to forgive not just a man who isn't here anymore, but each other for things that were never their fault. And above them, a God who hasn't given up on writing new chapters. If that scene, two families who had every reason to be at war, slowly choosing the road of reconciliation, stirs anything in you, write a reunion in the comments. It's a simple way of saying, I want that in my story too. And subscribe, because there's still more to tell about what God did in the middle of all this chaos. 1 year later, there's no fairy tale here. A year after Jack's death, I still have mornings when I wake up angry. Days when I pick up an old photo and, for a second, feel genuine nostalgia before remembering the lie. Days when I see one of his company's trucks on the road and my throat tightens. But there's also something I never expected, peace. Not a constant, perfect peace, but flashes of it. Lily and Sophia have become real sisters. They video call almost every day. Complain about teachers, compare homework, share songs, plan trips they hope to take together someday. One afternoon Lily came home with a broken bracelet. We bought this at a school fair, she said. Half for me, half for Sophia. It says sis on both. She opened her hand and showed me her piece. She's my sister, Mom, she said, firmly. Dad messed up. Bad. But we don't have to mess up the same way. Rosa got a better job as a cleaning assistant at a big company. I was promoted at the library, running a reading program for at-risk kids. Donna became a Grandma Donna to both girls with no distinction. If my son didn't know how to be one man, I can at least try to be two grandmas, she'd say when people asked how she handled dividing her time. On the anniversary of Jack's death, we met at my house. Not to celebrate him, but to mark a different kind of anniversary, survival. On the console table there were two framed photos. In one, Jack with baby Lily in his arms. In the other, Jack holding Sophia. Between them, a third picture, Lily and Sophia hugging, smiling. That picture sat in the center. Today, I don't want to talk about who he was to each of us, I said over coffee. I want to talk about who we're becoming despite what he did. Sophia walked in with a drawing. It was a page full of colors. 4 figures holding hands, me, Rosa, Lily, and Sophia. Above us was a big hand. Who's this? I asked. It's God's hand, she said simply. My Sunday school teacher said he holds us so we don't fall. I looked at the drawing and felt tears sting my eyes. Because in that little piece of paper, I saw more sound theology than in many sermons I've heard. The little sermon this story taught me: maybe you've never discovered a second family. Maybe your dad was present, faithful, honest. Maybe not. Maybe your pain isn't about marriage at all, but about abandonment, rejection, broken promises. Maybe someone treated you like a backup plan, an option, a piece of life. Maybe you were the other woman without knowing. Maybe you were the official one who got played. Maybe you were the forgotten child. The shape of the pain changes. The hole it leaves doesn't. I don't know your story. But I know what mine has taught me about reunions. I've learned that reunion isn't always about couples getting back together. Sometimes the most powerful reunion is between 2 people who had every reason to hate each other, like me and Rosa, and decide to walk side by side. Sometimes it's between 2 girls who were treated as children of a lie, and choose to see each other as sisters. Sometimes it's between a grandmother who lost the son she thought she had and chooses to love 2 granddaughters without asking which one deserves it more. And a lot of the time, the most important reunion is between you and God. For a long time, I confused God with Jack. I thought God might be like him, saying he loved me while secretly having another favorite family somewhere else. I imagined he could, at any moment, trade me in, forget me, walk away. But in the middle of all this, God started showing himself differently. He didn't write the betrayal. He didn't split Jack's life in 2. He didn't lie to me or to Rosa or to the girls. He was the one who came into my kitchen when I slid down the cabinet and said, I can't do this anymore. He was in the park when 2 teenagers looked at each other and chose to say whole sister instead of almost sister. He was in the church when I stood behind a microphone and said I didn't want to be defined as the betrayed woman anymore. He was at Donna's house, in Sophia's drawing, in that big hand holding us. God is not a double-life father. He doesn't have official kids and secret kids. He doesn't make promises to one family and live another life somewhere else. He's the only father who can look at us, with all our mess, the bad choices we've made and the bad choices others made that landed on us, and still say, you're my daughter. You're my son. I don't negotiate that. That's why when I talk about reconciliation, I'm not just talking about sitting at a table with the person who hurt you. Sometimes that person isn't here anymore. Sometimes, like Jack, they're gone. Sometimes, like certain parents, they never owned what they did. Reconciliation is often you deciding their sin won't be the label on your identity. It's you making peace with the truth, however painful, and saying, I won't live in a lie to protect anyone's image. It's you reconciling with the idea that God didn't author your pain, but he can be the author of what comes after. So if at any point in this story you saw yourself, even just a glimpse, if you are Emily, or Rosa, or Lily, or Sophia, or Donna, or some mix of all of us, I want to ask you to do something simple. Write one word in the comments, son or daughter. It's not for me. It's for you. It's your way of saying out loud, even if only in writing, I am not what they did to me. I am not the broken contract. I am not the lie that was told. I am a son. I am a daughter. And if this story stirred something in you, if it touched parts of you that you thought were already dry, if it made you remember someone you need, somehow, to find again, even if it's just in a quiet act of forgiveness, share this video with that person. Maybe you'll never sit across a table from them. Maybe there'll never be a new family photo. But sometimes the first reunion happens inside you when you decide you won't let pain write your ending by itself. And don't forget, Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because there are still many reunion stories to tell. Stories of people who, like me, thought what happened was the end, until they realized that in God's hands, even a betrayed heart can become a place of meeting again. Because in the end, this isn't just the story of a man who split his life in two. It's the story of a God who, patient and faithful, took those two halves, and the people broken between them, and started pulling everything together in one place. The place he always wanted us to be, close to his heart.